Hello, I'm John. Welcome back. Got a book haul to share with you today. I've decided to split it into two different videos. So there's quite a lot more nonfiction than fiction. So I thought that I would do the fiction in one video for the people who are interested in fiction, and then nonfiction for the people who are interested in nonfiction. And hopefully those spheres overlap in most cases. I hope so. So the first book is The Other by Thomas Tryon. And when I bought this, I was thinking of a different, I'm not sure if it was a book. I think it was a book and a movie, The Changeling, which was made into a movie with George C. Scott. It has a pretty shocking first 10 minutes, actually. And so I'm not exactly sure what this one is about. I think that the other is about twins in the 30s or the 20s, something like that. I'm not really sure. And this is one of those books that doesn't give you, a summary of the plot unless it's on the inside. I don't think it is. So I'm really going into this one without knowing exactly what it is. I thought it was something else. I'm okay with that. It was like $1. The next book is Home is the Sailor by Jorge Amado. And this is about a guy who moves to a small town in Brazil, and he claims to be a captain of an ocean liner or cargo ships, I'm not sure. And he tells everybody about all these adventures he's had, and it turns out he wasn't a sea captain, and somebody finds out, but then something happens to where he has he gets called up to be a sea captain. He's been saying all this time he's a captain, and so they call his bluff, and it goes on from there. So I'm actually really looking forward to this one, and this is an Avon Bard paperback, and they all have really neat covers. This is from the 70s, I think. Either the 70s or the late 60s. Okay, it's copyright 1964, but this printing is from 1979. I really like these. I'd like to have a lot more of these. Some of them are pretty expensive. Some of them get up into the $20 range, and that's just too much for me. The next book is A Passage to India by Forster. There's something interesting in this book, actually. It's a $100 uncashed check from 2005 for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra for, let's see, some kind of audition deposit. I guess that didn't work out or something. So I wanted to read this book for quite some time, and I just never have picked up a copy of it because it's probably a book I won't get to soon or anytime soon. This is one of those books where the mood will have to take me before I pick it up. But it could be really good. I don't know. The next book is Walter Mosley's Devil in a Blue Dress. I don't know why I had to look. I know the name of this book. I've read a couple of Walter Mosley's Easy Rawlins stories, and they're really good. It's about a black veteran who's come back from World War II, and he gets himself involved in almost like a detective, but he's not an actual detective. He just gets involved in other people's crimes, and people ask him to do things for them. I actually just finished the second one in the series called A Red Death, and hopefully I'll be talking about that soon. So if you've never seen Devil in a Blue Dress, it's got Denzel Washington and Don Cheadle and Tom Sizemore. It's a really, really good movie, and these are really good books. And I've kind of went backwards. I started with White Butterfly, and then I read A Red Death, and next I'll read Devil in a Blue Dress. They're really good. I really enjoy those, and I'd like to read all of them. The next is Target Mayflower by Richard Hirschhorn. So there was a whole genre like this in the 70s of like what would the Nazis have done differently, you know, like would they have put like V2 rockets on submarines or battleships or whatever? And there are several books like this, and I have several books like this. I have one that's almost the same as this. So the time is 1945, and the Nazis make one last desperate gamble to win the war. Land on the coast of Maine, liberate a POW camp, capture a uranium ore train, and hold Boston for ransom with V2 rockets. So that's pretty nuts. And this is, you know, a Garbogist read. Probably won't be particularly good. Probably be entertaining, though. The next book is James Axler's Deathlands Skydark. I almost said Skylark, but Skydark. And so these all take place in a post-apocalyptic future. And I've kind of described them as being like Fallout, the video game Fallout, and they're a lot like that. And in this one, apparently there's a mutant army on the rise, and they're led by, you know, a warlord, and the heroes of the novels have to do something about that. So I haven't read one of those in a while. They're the kind of books that you can only, or I can only read so often because they're just a little bit overwhelming to me. The next is The Coffin Ship by Peter Tonkin. I wonder if that's a pseudonym. So this is a mystery that takes place on a super tanker. So I got this from March Mystery Madness. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. And the next one is a mystery also. The next book is just a mystery novel. It's Ghosts from the Past by Glen Ebisch. And I just took a chance on this one. It looks pretty interesting. It sounds interesting. It's about a journalist who's researching a story in Vermont, and she learns of a triple homicide that took place in the 40s. There's an old guy who tells her that he'll tell her who did it if she pays him some money, and he winds up dead, and it goes from there. So I've never read anything by Glen Ebisch. This is from 2011, and I just wanted to take a chance on it. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. But up on this bookcase here, that top shelf is entirely mystery novels. So we'll see if I get to it or not in March. I hope so. I'd like to get to all of them, but I'd probably have to read for 8 hours a day to read all of them, and then I'd have to go get more. So the last book is The New Gothic, edited by Bradford Morrow and Patrick McGrath. This is from 1991, and I was just really drawn to this book. It's really solid, and I saw a lot of these when I was a kid. This reminds me of books that my mom used to check out at the library, this same style. And it's kind of hard to see, but flowers and everything. And this, when I picked it up, I just flipped through it. I think it was like $2, $3, and it is signed by William T. Volman, who has a story in this anthology. And there are quite a few authors in here. Ruth Rendell, Peter Straub, Patrick McGrath, Joyce Carol Oates, Anne Rice, Martin Amis, Jamaica Kincaid, Angela Carter, quite a few more people, but I don't recognize the rest of them. And I just I got this for multiple reasons. Not because it's signed or anything, but because I just really, like I said, it reminds me of my childhood. I don't know if I ever saw this book before, but I've seen a lot of books like this. And also, it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and I've really wanted to push myself a little bit further out of my comfort zone, because I find that when I do that, not only are my horizons expanded, but also I've been really impressed by some of the books I've read, some of the stories I've read that I didn't think that I would like. So for, a couple of dollars, I thought I'd take a chance on it. And that is the end of this fiction book haul, and I'm going to see if I can do a pyramid here. I don't know. We'll find out. This one not nearly as big as the nonfiction would have to be. So that is 9 books, and hopefully there's some good reading in there. It wasn't very much. This whole stack was probably, I don't know, $15, something like that. So that's today's book haul, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear about them. And I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.